Hi everybody, it's Claire back with another project for Scrap FX. So today I'm playing with a stencil that I've designed called Elle. I'm working in a Dina Wakley Blue Media Edition journal. I've already added some gesso to the page and I'm starting off using a Dylusions paint in Pure Sunshine. Just adding some swatches of that onto the page. I've also used some lemon zest as well and peony blush, and I'm just kind of smooshing those colours together. I'm also adding the same colours to a piece of A4 sized cardstock. I'm doing the same on the front and the back. I'm going to be using this to create a fold out part to the page. So I wanted it to blend with the page, that's why I'm using the same colours. So then I'm using this stencil from Scrap FX, which is called Zinnia, and I'm using Funky Fuchsia for the colour here with a blending tool, and I'm just adding that stencil in a few areas. And again, just repeating the same process on the card that you can see on the right hand side. So this is a collage paper by Scrap FX called Classifieds. I do love collage papers that have got text on. I like to use text in my journaling too. I think it just adds a really nice element to the page. I'm just adding this in a few areas onto the page. And I'm going to be doing exactly the same on the piece of card as well. On the front and the back, as you can see. Then this is a fabulous mark making set from Scrap FX called Crosses and Strokes, and I'm just using Dina Wakley Media in fuchsia paint and a little roller, and I'm just adding some stamping onto the page using that. Then I'm using the dashes one of the set and some white paint and just adding some of those on too. So this is a really quick way to add a bit of mark making onto your page, especially if you're not too confident doing it yourself. You can see that it just adds another area of interest. Then I've folded this into roughly thirds. I've just left an extra bit on one side, just that I'm going to use that to help stick it down. I couldn't find my bone folder, so I'm using a palette knife instead. And you can see that's kind of roughly where it's going to go. So next I'm just going to cut the top of it into an interesting shape. So I'm doing kind of like almost semicircle type shape on the top, and then I've just used a bit of double-sided tape and stuck it down that little extra flap on that side, and that's how it's going to stick in over there. Then I decided I wanted to add some washi tape, and because washi tape's so pretty but it isn't very sticky because of the nature of it, so more double-sided tape goes down first and then the washi tape on top, and I do that on the front and on the back as well. I have found that this does help to keep things in place quite well. Double-sided tape's just fabulous. And then it's time to get out my stencil. I was quite excited about this, and so I'm just using black paint and a blending sponge, not a blending sponge, a makeup sponge, beg your pardon, and just adding the paint onto there. And just making sure that on those areas where there's small detail, like the eyes and the mouth, that I haven't got too much paint on my sponge. And then you can see I've just opened up the fold out part, and all I'm going to do now is add stenciling in to match up with the stenciling that you can see from underneath. I hope that makes sense. I guess you'll see once I lift this away, you will understand. Okay. So then I'm doing the same here. I'm just adding the edge of this part of the face on, just so that when that bit's left folded, you can still see the face. And then I'm debating, should I do that other bit, and decided I was going to leave it just like that. So then I've just got some collage elements to add onto the page as well. Just to add a bit of white back in, because as you know, not very good with the old white space. I think I just love colour too much. So then I'm just using a white gel pen and I'm just adding some whites back into the eyes. It just kind of pops them out a little bit and, I don't know, brings them a bit more into focus. That's funny. So once I've done that, then I'm just using these craft words from the Journey set by Scrap FX as well. And I'm just cutting up the quote so that it'll fit on the back of the fold out. And then once I've stuck those in place, I'm just adding some more mark making onto the back of there too. And again, using a Posca pen. And then finally it was just time to add my words into the spaces that were left, really, kind of working around the collage element that I'd added on. This page kind of spoke to me a lot about how, as humans, we do have more than one side to ourselves, and I don't know, we often, I think, have a side to ourselves that we do keep hidden from everybody else. And so that was kind of what this spoke to me about, so that was what I went with. And then I'm just using this rice paper, which is also by Scrap FX, and it's called Bubbles. And I'm just giving this head on the first page, on the main page, a body, just so that it isn't kind of floating in space. So I'm just kind of working out how I'd need to cut that so that it would fit properly. Stuck it in place, and then I'm just adding some more detail onto the lettering. I'm just kind of going over it with a white gel pen, beg your pardon, and it does kind of just push it away a bit into the background, which I was quite happy with. So then once I'd done that, I just added another botanical doodle on the right hand side, which I used a black Posca pen for, and also went over using a white gel pen. And then because I'd kind of anchored the head on the first page by giving it a bit of a body, I did the same on the second page, but this time I just used black paint. And you can see I just used a gap between that body and the bottom of the hair just so that it wouldn't kind of all blend into one. And this was a great space for doing a little bit of journaling. So once it was dry, I used the white gel pen and added some journaling onto there. Just some thoughts about the page and how I was feeling. This is one of the things that art journaling is so good for. It's just kind of clearing the rubbish out of your head and the things that you're thinking about. It's a great way to just get rid of it all onto the page. So there we go. Pretty much that is the finished page. Once I've done another little doodle up on the top there. Sometimes I just do not know when to stop. Just keep on going. So there we have it. That's the finished page. So I hope you've enjoyed watching this video. Don't forget to subscribe and click the little notification bell on the Scrap FX channel just to see lots and lots of inspirational videos from the Scrap FX design team. And thank you for watching.